Hello and welcome back to Unwinding Minds. Whether it's your first time here or you're returning, I'm genuinely glad that you could join us. Today we're exploring something often felt but rarely spoken about in discussions about neurodiversity. That is skill regression in ADHD and autism. It can feel bewildering and sometimes downright distressing, but you're not failing. You're human, and this is a process many of us experience, especially as we start to become more aware of our internal struggles. This video should be helpful to those who are struggling with it. So let's just gently walk through what skill regression is together, how it can appear, how it might feel, and most importantly, how you can move through it with compassion and with support. So let's kick off on the right foot, shall we? What the heck is skill regression anyway? You may have never heard this term before. Skill regression is something that often happens to ADHDers and Auties when they become aware of their neurodiversity, and often continues to crop up later down the road as well. Skill regression refers to the temporary or prolonged loss of previously acquired abilities. Put more simply, tasks or routines you could once manage with may suddenly feel unreachable, unattainable, downright impossible to do the way that you used to do them. In ADHD, this isn't just forgetfulness. It's deeply rooted, often sudden, and can impact areas like academic performance, organisation, social skills, or even fine motor skills. For autism, especially in adults, similar regression, sometimes also discussed as autistic burnout, but this is slightly different, can involve losing language skills, self-care routines, or social engagement, and it's often triggered by prolonged stress or sensory overload. As I mentioned before, this regression in skills often comes as we start to become more conscious of neurodiversity in our lives. Suddenly you get this awareness that you've been struggling with things that others haven't. You become aware of masking, and it can all just flood in and make it really hard to carry on as you were before. This phenomenon is incredibly common. I see it all the time when I'm counselling neurodivergent people. So let's talk about how it manifests for most people, because I think that helps to illustrate what we're talking about a little better. Some ways skill regression might appear include struggling with time management systems that once worked for you, avoiding or finding it overwhelming to do routine tasks like cooking, cleaning, dressing, increased urges to socially withdraw, going quiet, or losing the ease in conversations that you used to have, reverting to earlier developmental behaviours, especially noted in autistic burnouts. Sudden declines in academic or work performance in areas where you were previously strong are also quite common when you're experiencing skill regression. Those are just some examples, but there are so many ways that this can affect you. You might feel bewildered by these changes. One day you're managing, the next you're not. But it's not a failure. It's a response to pressure, change, or internal overload. And in my experience, it's an important stage of the unmasking process that most neurodivergent people go through. It comes when we're feeling the crippling weight of trying to do everything perfectly or as expected, and we suddenly realize it's not sustainable anymore. People commonly feel shame and deep self-criticism when this happens. You might feel frustration or fear of being judged, and for some it can catapult you into high anxiety, low self-esteem, or even hopelessness. As one insightful source I read through put it when I was researching this video, skill regression after diagnosis isn't a sign of failure, it's a sign you're finally listening to yourself. This is your body and brain letting you know that you've been working on overdrive for too long. That's why it just suddenly goes kaput. So let's talk about why this happens and some other causes and triggers. As I said before, stress and overwhelm can cause it. Chronic pressure can erode maintained skills. So this doesn't just happen when you're diagnosed, it often happens far beyond that. It can also be routine or environmental shifts, moving, job changes. New routines can destabilize executive function. Hormonal fluctuations like puberty or menstrual cycles are another factor. More research is currently coming out that there's a big overlap in PMDD and autism at the moment, for example. Medication changes or lapses in effectiveness might be a factor for you too. And finally, co-occurring mental health issues such as anxiety or depression may be the match that have lit the fire for you. For autistic individuals, burnout often stems from sensory overload, masking demands, or sustained emotional exhaustion, showing a clear parallel to skill regression. This may all be quite the revelation to you that it's not unusual that there's some regression in skills with neurodiversity. It's why I often say that finding a mental health worker or counsellor who understands neuroaffirmative and informed care and practice has so much potential for helping you out. Therapy, especially from neuroinformed professionals, can really help you to empower yourself to unpack your personal patterns of regression. It can help you to gently identify what triggers you. It can give you the support, rebuilding of your lost skills at your own pace. Cultivating self-compassion and reducing shame is another thing. This isn't about fixing you, it's about walking alongside you, helping you to re-engage with your strengths and re-establish routines with kindness. I often end up supporting my clients with sensory safety plans, for example, so that there's some clarity on what you can actually do if you start to experience skill regression or a phase of burnout. Let's talk about a few ideas to help you cope if you are struggling with this. Number 1, break tasks down. Make it smaller, make it more manageable. Reduce the overwhelm by reducing the expectations down. It's better that we go lower than your maximum potential in those moments, because nothing erodes self-confidence like placing the hurdle too high and not being able to cross it despite your best efforts. Number 2 is body doubling. Get a buddy or use a platform like FocusMate to help you. I'm not sponsored, by the way, but if they want to sponsor me, then give me a call. Body doubling can help us when it feels like we're leaning into procrastination more, without putting pressure on us to do absolutely everything. Number 3, lifestyle support. Look into prioritizing sleep, gentle movement, and nutrition. As I used to get told growing up, KISS, keep it simple, stupid. Not the friendliest acronym, but it illustrates an important point. Simple does not mean easy, and I prefer to think of the simple stuff as fundamentals. Did you drink any water today? No? Okay, champ, maybe start there before beating yourself up for not being able to write a report or win a Nobel Prize before or during your lunch break. If you haven't got the fundamentals in place, break it down and see to just 1 or 2 of your fundamental needs first. That brings us neatly to number 4, outlook and expectation shifts. You are struggling right now, and most of that struggle is coming from your thoughts about you. Mindfulness and CBT-based coping strategies, including identifying unhelpful thoughts and replacing them with kinder reframes, they will pave the way to you being able to look at yourself with greater compassion. This can be done alone, but it works even better when supported by a trained therapist or through executive functioning coaching. So bear that in mind. You do have options for getting support. I'm a trained counsellor in private practice, and there are many others out there who will also see and support you with your struggles. You're not alone, and that's so important to remember. Skill regression is not weakness. It's not stupidity or in any way a sign of you not being able to ever cope again. It's your inner system signalling overload. Like physical pain in the body warns us of injury or threat, psychological overwhelm shows us when we're doing too much. You can use compassionate self-talk. Things like, I'm not broken, I'm overwhelmed. This is hard, and I'm doing my best. Ask yourself gentle questions and show curiosity to the answers. What do I really need right now? Maybe rest, maybe permission to be gentle, maybe a good enough approach. That's plenty of waffle from me today. Hopefully this has given you some insights into what might be happening to you or to a loved one. Skill regression, whether ADHD related or autistic, it's not permanent. With understanding and tailored support, it's very possible to re-establish routines and regain self-trust, building back your confidence again. Counselling provides a safe place to process and learn coping skills with self-kindness. In therapy, you don't just get strategies, you rediscover your own strength gently, with a good therapist. As I said before, you're not alone in this, and this moment does not define your worth as a person. Maybe comment down below if you've experienced this, or if you never knew this was a thing. I'd love to hear from you, and the insights you have may just be exactly what someone else needs to hear if they're struggling. You can also take a look at my website if you want more help. Links are in the description and in the pinned comment below. And hey, would it really be a YouTube video if I didn't remind you at the end to like, comment, subscribe? Just remember, you're doing better than you feel you are. You're here and you're trying. Be kind to yourself and take care.